was that? What am I seeing here? Look, I've studied cannibalism before. This is not a new idea to me. We made a whole video about it. It's supposed to come with bloody cleavers and meat grinders and factory farms, not pomegranates and flowers? I mean, this is pretty. It's romantic. Frankly, I have no idea what to do with this. The more I look at it, the more I see. This isn't some fringe trend or niche subculture. This is clearly an idea humans have been toying with for ages. I just need to know, where did all of this come from? How can you want to eat each other? Okay, really quick, I just want to share something with you that I'm really proud of. This is how we here at Foundry imagine the infamous King in Yellow to look. This is an actual original piece of art created by our very own artist, Owen Norton. The reason I want to show it to you here is because I think it also says something about the absurdity of art. See the gilded antlers, the floating crown, the flowing tasseled robes, skeletons crowded within. There's just something so resonant about this figure and about how artists are so drawn to it. We just had to try and capture that. And you could capture it too. We have prints available at thetailfoundry.com/store. They're only $20 each, and every one you buy helps us make these videos. Again, just visit thetailfoundry.com/store to get yours. I can't promise you won't go mad looking at it. That's just a risk you'll have to take. Now, back to the video.
I don't kill people. I just try not to.
Most of the characters in the movie, bones and all, are cannibals. The protagonist is a cannibal, her mother is a cannibal, her boyfriend is a cannibal. Many of the people they meet on their cross-country road trip are cannibals. In this story, it's just a fact of life for some people, which is why I never found any of them particularly disturbing, except for one. Usually the eaters, as they call themselves, try to hide their urges. They can't help hungering for human flesh. It's not something that most of them want to do. And then there's Sully. Sully is proud to be an eater. His clothes are covered in pins and feathers, presumably stolen from all the people he ate. He carries around a trophy made of human hair, something even other eaters think is going too far.
That's a choice. You don't have to be like that.
He stalks the protagonist Marin over her long journey across the country. He's polite, even friendly, until she refuses to give him what he wants. In his very first scene, he approaches Marin when she's alone at night. He knows she's vulnerable, and he knows how to take advantage of that. When I started looking into this whole romantic cannibalism thing, I thought the most obvious themes were going to be indulgence and release. And they are. We'll get to that. But I was also surprised to find Sully here. To see how much of this is just about power. Dominance. I mean, that's sort of the traditional view of cannibalism, right? It's violent. It's destructive. One party is fed, the other is consumed. What about that is romantic? Dead Plate is a game full of pretty French anime boys. It's also a game where you are, as a major plot point, very liable to be eaten. You play as Rhodey, penniless, lovesick waiter doing your best to make ends meet. Your boss, Vincent Charbonneau, runs his restaurant with an iron fist and a temper that makes Gordon Ramsay look like Tiny Chef. When Rhodey cuts his hand taking out the trash, Vince slaps him. Not long after, he holds another chef's face over the stove. And he never even does any of the cooking himself. His behavior only gets worse as the negative reviews begin to pile up. Vince's solution to this problem is interesting. He somehow comes to the conclusion that if he eats Rhodey, he can become a great chef again. If he's just able to taste that flesh, maybe something will change. The relationship between Vince and Rhodey isn't like the one between Marin and Sully. It's an actual relationship. They have chemistry, small palpable moments of tension and tenderness. The game isn't explicit about this fact, but I don't think it needs to be. This is a love story. One way or another, as toxic as it gets, that's the only appropriate way I can think to describe it. And I wonder, how many other relationships it also describes. Real relationships full of love and tenderness and imbalance. Tacit struggles for power, humans consuming and being consumed by each other. I don't think you have to be a cannibal to know what that feels like. There's this moment from the 2002 movie May that I just can't get out of my head. It's a scene where May's new boyfriend, Adam, shows her a short film he made in college. They watch together as the couple on screen sets out a romantic picnic in the middle of the park and then proceeds to eat each other. Adam was going for shock value here. This scene was supposed to be gross. But May, she finds it sweet. Later on, when the two of them are getting intimate, she takes a cue from the film and sinks her teeth into him. Horrified, Adam leaves, and May just sort of sits there, wondering what she did wrong. Okay, look, I'm not that kind of robot, I promise, but I kind of get where May is coming from. Of all the ways people romanticize the idea of cannibalism, this is the big one. The one I keep seeing everywhere. It's there in the pomegranates, the lambs, the Hannibal gift sets. It's hard to escape. Cannibalism makes a really interesting metaphor for love. Actually, it very clearly goes beyond metaphor. Across history, a variety of cultures have engaged in funerary cannibalism, paying tribute to the deceased by consuming their remains. When the survivors of the 1972 Andes plane crash were forced to resort to cannibalism, they honored their loved ones for keeping them alive. Even in everyday life, tiny acts of symbolic cannibalism seem to be typical for humans. Couples bite each other flirtatiously. You might look at a particularly cute baby and say that you want to eat them up. Someone cute is a cinnamon roll, someone sexy is a snack. You get the idea. Somehow, this idea of cannibalism as an act of love has become very human. The story Meet by Mariana Enriquez is all about this weird dynamic. It follows two teenage girls, Julieta and Mariela, who worship their favorite musician, Espina, like a god. His death doesn't stop them. They are fanatics. They dig up the body late one night and, quote, feed on it with devotion and disgust. They consume everything, down to the bone. Almost immediately, the incident becomes a media sensation. Everyone sees this act as a defilement of crazed passion. But to the girls, there was nothing disrespectful about what they did. Consuming their idol was, to them, an act of worship. They wanted to be as close to him as they could possibly get. And Espina's fanbase envies them. They admire Julieta and Mariela, christening them as they who have Espina in their bodies. By the end of the story, the girls end up with a cult following of their own. But they were never after power. They consumed Espina's body because they loved him, or at least what they knew of him through his music and persona. May uses cannibalism to express her infatuation with Adam. In Meet, it's the circles of consumption that celebrity culture creates. Devotion, infatuation, sacrifice, remembrance, the range of experiences that people consider love is endless. So too is the way that cannibalism can be used to convey it. Bones and All is a movie about cannibalism. But if I had to attach it to any one genre, I'd call it romance. Not a toxic romance, just a romance. After running away from Sully, Marin travels across the US alone. She meets Lee, another eater. With nobody else to rely on, the two drifters start a relationship. They struggle to survive and find intimate moments when they can. They're just like any other young couple. They ride the Ferris wheel together. They exchange personal secrets. They have their first kiss in a slaughterhouse. Eventually, they settle down together. They even try to live normal lives to give up the eater thing. Until Sully finds them and breaks into their apartment. Crazed with possessive anger, he attacks Marin. The couple manages to defend themselves, but Lee is fatally wounded. He won't survive. Lee was the only person Marin could trust. He felt like home. He gave his life for her. And now, he wants her to do something for him.
I don't want you to eat.
No, I don't want
you to do it, Mary.
I can't stop.
We're done here.
No.
I want you to do it, Marin.
Please, stop. No.
Bones
No,
it
I
up.
can't.
Call it whatever you want, but in the context of the film, this is an act of love. He wants to spend his last moments sustaining her, giving himself to her entirely. Nothing of him will remain, but she will get to live. And in that moment, that's all that matters to him. So with tears and blood on her face, she agrees.
Just love me and eat.
Ethel Cain's concept album, Preacher's Daughter, is a lonely work of art. That's probably the best word I can use to describe it. It's a bleak piece of Americana evoking images of endless roads and empty houses. It is relentless in the way that it makes you feel for its central character. The story follows Cain's fictional persona through a life of trauma, shame, and desire. Ethel, the character, just wants to be loved. She's learned from her past that love means constant devotion, even when it harms her. Every time she escapes one dangerous situation, it seems she always finds herself in another. Toward the end of the album, Ethel's partner murders her. In the last track, Strangers, he literally consumes her body. It's here that she reaches a broken, messy form of catharsis. As she watches herself being eaten, she rages vengefully, "Am I making you sick?" At the same time, this is the complete devotion she's been after her whole life. She's euphoric in some strange delight, attracted and repulsed all at once. She's free and a freezer bride. Long before it gets to the actual cannibalism, Preacher's Daughter centers around something I keep seeing in cannibalism narratives over and over again. There's a huge theme of repression here from the very first track. That's why Ethel's feelings at the end are so intense and contradictory. She was encouraged to suppress them her entire life. At the risk of giving you tonal whiplash a second time, I need to bring up Dead Plate again, because I left something out earlier. I mentioned that Vince never cooked at his own restaurant and that he was planning to eat roadie so that he could be a chef again. What I didn't tell you is how those things fit together. At one point in the game, you learn that Vince lost his sense of taste when he was younger, which is sad. He's devoted his life to cooking, but he can never experience what he creates. And while he may not want to admit it, he takes those restaurant reviews personally. They all say his food lacks love, that he's not cooking in the way that a chef should. That's why he gets desperate. He thinks that if he could just consume something full of love, he could finally taste again. He doesn't want to be a cannibal. He just thinks it's the only way he could actually feel something. Whenever I start one of these cannibalism stories, it's not the cannibalism I'm anticipating, not exactly. It's the moment the taboo is broken. What happens to push the characters to a point of no return? When do they decide it's reasonable to eat each other? I never finished watching the show Yellow Jackets, but I did get to the scene. High chance you know exactly the one I'm talking about, even if you haven't watched the show. Stranded in the wilderness, a girls' soccer team struggles to survive. One of their teammates, Jackie, doesn't make it. During a long winter, the girls hold a funeral for her. They begin to burn her body on the pyre, and then realize how hungry they are.
She wants us to.
In moments, their funeral ceremony becomes a feast, a bacchanalia where the girls descend into an indulgent fantasy. They cram handfuls of flesh into their mouths, imagining decadent fruit and roast meat. And in that moment, watching them gorge themselves, I think I started to understand. It's the same thing Vince was after. Catharsis, an ecstatic sensory experience that can only come once the taboo is broken. In these stories, cannibalism is not just a plot beat. It's not just a thing that happens. It is an event, a sensory emotional peak. The cannibalism craze as we know it has been going on for decades, that much is clear to me. A bit harder to grasp why it's experiencing a bit of a resurgence today. So I reached out to another YouTuber, Lola Sebastian, who has a great video of her own on Bones and All, by the way, and she had some really interesting thoughts. To her, it has a lot to do with the world humans are living in now. Online platforms encourage people to perform to a massive audience. In times of economic stress, simple treats become indulgent luxuries. People feel pressured to consume and to be consumed. When people have less disposable income than ever, she said, we have to get weird with our pleasures. People are always going to need an outlet. To some, I suppose, having a cup of tea in the morning can feel like cannibalism, a transgressive indulgence, a guilty pleasure. The cannibal doesn't care if their consumption is useful. They consume with reckless abandon. They do it for the experience. And when you look at it that way, how can it be anything but romantic? It's Shauna holding onto Jackie's frozen ear in Yellow Jackets. Vince is longing to taste something for the first time in years. Marin's constant urge to eat. Maybe it's not that complicated. Maybe it's just that when starved for long enough, of course, people will want to feast. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think I get it now. This is not some trope subversion. It's not a psychological quirk. I think what we're looking at here is something incredibly intuitive, a kind of fundamental, basic, maybe even elemental metaphor. It combines two of the most familiar human impulses, consumption and connection. It can be about love. It can also be about abuse. One of the oldest use cases was, historically, colonizers weaponizing it to justify oppression. And I've seen that entire paradigm turned on its head. Now the colonizers are the cannibals. I've seen feminist cannibalism, where the act becomes a reclamation of power. I've seen cannibalism as rebellion, conformity, self-sacrifice, selfishness. I've seen all these things woven together in ways that can't easily be picked apart. I can't tell you how hard it was to organize this video in all its examples. But at the center of them all, that same breach of taboo, the profane place where consumption meets connection. As Lola said, when you let something become untouchable, it deifies it. So then we have this reverence for things that are taboo because we think they're inherently deep. We've entered a space of magic where we've deified the cannibal. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe you don't want to eat each other. Maybe you just want to do a whole lot of things like it. Cannibalism is just one elemental metaphor. The number of symbols and images and archetypes that humans use to describe their world is literally endless. Finding those things is, honestly, half the fun of my job. I love it. Humanity is like a puzzle made out of a million other tiny puzzles. I don't think I'll ever get tired of this. It's a sentiment I think a lot of other artists share in common with me. One of my favorite dabblers in the realm of metaphor is an artist named Peter Moorbacher, who has spent the last few decades codifying aspects of human experience into the form of angels. This is Cethariel, angel of deception; Gadriel, angel of war; Tamiel, angel of the unseen. These are all art pieces from Moorbacher's massive project, the Angelarium. Let me just say, the scale of this work is nigh unbelievable. There's an angel for just about everything. Moorbacher takes inspiration from mythology, history, religious texts, and creates his own version of what the world of these angels would look like. And it's not just visual art either, as amazing as all of that is. There's lore, an angelic history spanning eons of time. Moorbacher even created his own angelic alphabet for this project. There are 2 Angelarium books, and they're full of this stuff. The Book of Emanations and the Book of Watchers tell the stories of each of these angels, almost like a mythological compendium for the world Moorbacher has created. I don't want to spoil anything because I really want you to see these for yourself. This is more than just an art project. The Angelarium is a literary work, too. Right now, both Angelarium books are on sale together for $85, which is already 15% off the original sticker price. But if you use code TALEFOUNDRY20 at checkout, you'll also get an additional 20% off that price. So that's like $68 for 2 books. Honestly, if you want to own these, I think this is the cheapest way to get them. That same code will also get you 20% off anything in the Angelarium shop, including angel-themed tarot decks, collectible art cards, angelic enamel pins, even playmats featuring full art of the angels themselves. I personally own the Givura one, which I adore. Again, visit angelarium.shop and use code TALEFOUNDRY20 to get an additional 20% off both books when you buy them together, or anything else in the Angelarium shop. Thanks again to Peter for sponsoring this one. Go show him some support. He has been an amazing artist to work with.